SHAREfactory.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I am joined by my good friend Jacob Saltemeyer, and today we're going to be talking about the correlation between violence and language discrimination. Jacob, I've talked to you a little bit about this topic. What are your opinions on it? Like, what do you think about the topic?
Well,
Like, do you think it's a pressing issue in our culture nowadays, or?
I don't think it's that much of a pressing issue.
Oh, okay.
Just the language part. Yes, there's discrimination, but not necessarily towards the language.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do believe that there is, more violence towards people who do speak a different language. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about your opinion. So, you live around Central Texas. That's mostly where that's home for you, correct?
Yes.
Are there many?
That is my home.
Are there many Spanish-speaking people there?
There's a few. It's not.
But is it
very much, though.
like a big thing down there, or no?
No, mostly English speaking.
Okay. Well, I mean, what would your reaction be to someone speaking Spanish down the street?
Well, if I heard someone speaking a different language, I'd be like, I don't know what they're saying, so I guess I'll just kind of walk away, because, if they're talking to me, then I'll stay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to understand them, but if they're just, speaking Spanish, I'm not going to discriminate against them for that, but, it's...
Yeah, okay. Do you think... So we have some counter-arguments that a few peers from my class have given us. This was one that stood out the most, and I actually very much enjoyed this question. Is violence inevitable? And speaking to a broader point, do you think bullying is normalized in our society?
Violence is most definitely inevitable. Like, we can't avoid violence.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But yes, I do think that bullying has become normalized.
Oh,
Because,
okay.
When you hear someone getting bullied, it's just not the same as it used to be when someone heard it.
Okay. Okay, Jacob. So, what so you have experiences from Central Texas, and I mean, me and David, we grew up in El Paso, which is, the farthest possible location.
Farthest west.
Yes. So when I was talking to David, and you guys will hear the next part of David, he's coming up in a little bit. He brought up the point that, I mean, it's kind of an everyday thing. No one really cares if you're walking down the street and you speak Spanish in El Paso, because we have a huge Mexican population, The whole immigrant thing is a big deal down there. In Central Texas, do you think, how would I say this? You couldn't walk down the street speaking Spanish? Like, would you be discriminated against or acted upon?
Well, okay, so let's say if I spoke Spanish and I started walking down the street and just started speaking Spanish, in Central Texas, no, you wouldn't get discriminated against, because,
Okay.
there is a large, there's a pretty large, variety of cultures.
Oh, okay, interesting.
In Central Texas, so you have some people who can speak French, and some German, some Spanish. So, okay, so in Central Texas, there's a lot of different cultures. So if you heard anyone speaking a different language, you're not gonna think anything of it.
Yeah.
It's just another language that people speak. So,
Yeah, I understand. I get you. I know what you're trying to say. Alrighty then. Well, thank you very much, Jacob, for your time, and I hope you have a good night.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Alright, Jacob, so as a final question, I guess, what would be your opinion in how would we stop or slow down minority, how would I say this? Violence aimed towards minorities in America.
How could we stop it?
Yeah, how could we stop it, slow it down?
Well, to me, there's not much more we can do than what we're doing right now. Obviously, we can't stop people physically. Like that's not our place. Obviously, there are laws about, you know, stopping people with force. So, in my honest opinion, this is just me though, I don't know what else we could do.
No,
Like,
that's
we can
completely
make
reasonable.
laws
I
about it,
understand.
but as you know, there are plenty of laws that people break on a daily basis, and you know the whole saying "laws were meant to be broken." It's gonna happen anyways. So I don't think there's a way we can stop it. It's just, I say we just keep pushing what we're already doing,
Yeah.
because all we can do is make people aware of it. We can't actually stop it ourselves because it's just gonna happen anyways.
Okay.
So
Alrighty then.
yeah, I don't know if there's much we can do about it other than what we're doing.
Interesting point. Alrighty then. Thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you for coming on. I know it might have taken a little bit out of your day, but I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you.
Hello, I am joined by my second guest, David. David, say hello.
Hello.
Alright, so David, thank you very much for joining me. I have just a few questions to ask you. This is about increased violence towards like minority speaking people, to people who speak Spanish. You know, because you and me speak Spanish, that's a minority language. So what's your experience speaking Spanish? Has there ever been a time where you're, you know, doing what you do, going to Walmart, and then there's someone who looks at you funny or something like that?
No, not really. I'd say my experiences, especially growing up in El Paso, you have a lot of people that are very open about Spanish speakers, and you know, it's pretty open for the most part.
Yeah.
You can speak however. Spanglish is also something pretty popular around here too. But no, I never really had a problem with speaking Spanish publicly.
Alright, well that's good, that's good. So going on to a broader sense, well, first of all, do you think that there is violence towards people who speak a different language besides English, which would be the primary language of America?
It's tough to say, but for the most part, I'd say no. I feel like it's mainly toward, how could I put this?
Ethnicity, race, or, you know, the big ones?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Okay. So you don't think that the language you speak has much to do with, like, if you're getting bullied or picked on or having violence towards you?
No.
Okay.
I really don't think I could understand, like, maybe like they're afraid of a certain person that speaks a different language because, like, they don't know if they're talking smack or you know, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But once they understand the language, it's pretty easy.
Okay. Well, talking about my broader point, do you think that violence is inevitable? Like, that there's really nothing we can do to stop it, or what's your opinion on that?
Violence is an interesting, I'd say, topic. You got stuff going on with other countries that could turn out violent. You have social violence and
Well, what about
can be based on economic.
Well, what about
Yeah?
bullying as my broader point? Do you think bullying is normal now?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like, you know, me and you during high school, they had the always
Jeez, yeah, the
lectures and
Ovaeus.
things. That did bring awareness to bullying, because, you know, before cell phones and everything, it was all verbal or physical. Now it's all digital.
Yeah.
So you gotta be really careful.
Okay.
So on the physical, verbal side, I don't think we see it as much as we do digital.
Oh, all right, interesting. Yeah. So my last point, my last topic that I'd like to cover is do you see violence every day in El Paso? And if you do, what kind of violence or bullying or picking or a number of those other words do you see or do you witness?
I don't really see much, especially since of the tragedy that happened.
Yeah.
There's not really been much after. Everybody's been more to themselves and more like secluded to their own
Damn,
like
that
their own
sucks.
households and things like that. El Paso is changed a lot since
I
the
bet,
incident.
man. I bet I wouldn't even recognize it. All
Yeah,
right.
bro, like the vibe went down.
Oh no, dude! Don't tell me that. Alrighty then. Well, thank you very much. That's about it. We're pushing a little over 10 minutes now, but yeah. Thank you very much for all of this. This was very helpful. I hope you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, bro.
All right. Bye bye.
Later.